then it clicks and there's a light bulb moment. And that is so awesome to see your kid just get it. Those key moments that just make it all worthwhile. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Blessings at Home. Today I thought I would just have a chat with you guys about things that I've learned in our homeschooling journey. We have been homeschooling for 4 years now. Yes, 4 years. And there have been a lot of things that I've changed, a lot of things that I've learned from starting out. And I thought that maybe this would help some of you guys, or just those of you that are thinking about homeschooling, or maybe you've been homeschooling for a while and you're struggling with these things too, or have learned some of these things. And I thought I would just share those with you today. All right, so if you guys are new here, my name is Kendra. I have 3 kiddos, 2 of them which are homeschooling age, and we have been homeschooling from the very beginning. I started my oldest in kindergarten, and we have had a lot of changes and growing and learning as a homeschooling family. And like I said, my oldest, I started him in kindergarten, and I had big plans for him. I thought he was for sure ready. There were definitely some things that he totally was great with, excelled with, and there were some that he was just not into. So I just want to start off with, first, kindergarten is just kindergarten. Don't stress about it. Most states consider compulsory school age to be 7 anyway, so kindergarten is not, at least in my state, it's not required. And I still wanted to do stuff with him, but I learned quickly that all the things that I wanted to do with him was just not going to happen, and that's okay. Like I said, he's kindergarten, and it didn't harm him in any way, not doing writing and a big in-depth reading program or anything like that. He just wasn't ready for those. Writing was just not his thing. It's still not really his thing, but that's okay. Going into my middle child, I learned that, just go with what they're ready for. If they want to do some school, great. Don't put the pressure on yourself to think, oh my goodness, it's kindergarten. I need to teach them to read and to write, and they need to have language art skills. And no, it's just make it fun. If they're not ready, don't push it, because if you push it, they're not going to want to do school ever. And it's going to be a huge struggle and a huge fight for you from that point on. They don't need history. They don't need writing if they're not ready. And we did history in kindergarten because my kiddo enjoyed it. That was something that he really liked. So just make it light and fun. Play games, read books, read lots of books. If they want to do writing, then by all means, go ahead. Just kind of go off of what your child is ready for and what they're wanting to do. And don't make it like a long day of 20 minutes. 20 minutes for kindergarten is good if their attention span is, if they'd rather go run around outside. Because that's learning too. Use that time as a learning year to get to know your child's learning style, how you would want to teach things. And that's another thing that I learned, is finding your teaching style and your children's learning style. That is so important. There are so many different curriculums out there that go off of different philosophies, different types of learning styles, and things like that. And it's so overwhelming sometimes to figure out what is going to work. And finding what your child's learning style is so important. They might be a visual learner and you're sitting over here reading textbooks. That's not going to blend well with how their brain ticks. Maybe they're a hands-on learner, but you're over here just making facts and writing things on a board. Like, that's not going to click with them. They're not going to connect with the information at all. So really finding a curriculum that works for the type of learning style that they are is so important. But it's also important to find stuff that works for your teaching style. I know that I am not a stand in front of my classroom and just spout off things like a teacher does in a school. That's not how I want to do it. And I'm not really a big fan of textbooks. That's just not what I do. Or I don't do classical conversations because that's not my teaching style. I don't want to have my children just memorizing things because I know that they're not going to enjoy that either. There are some kids that thrive in that, some parents that love that kind of stuff, but that's just not how I work, and that's not how my kids work. So I know that that would not have been a very good program to jump into. So we really like the read alouds, the Charlotte Mason. I dove into that this year, and it's really going well. And I think that that is a very good teaching style for me and a learning style for the kids. There's so many different curriculums and different styles out there to try. Something that goes along with that is if you try a curriculum and it doesn't work, it's okay to switch. There have been so many things that I have changed and switched and learned and just found that work better or don't work at all, or wow, that was really boring. It's okay to make a mistake, try something new. If it doesn't work, go back to what did work or drop it. It's okay to drop it. Maybe pick it up later. Maybe it's not the right time, the right season for your kids to be doing that. Maybe they're not ready for it. It's okay. Put it on the shelf, bring it out later, try it again if you want to do that. Otherwise, just try something new. It's okay. There have been, for kindergarten specifically, I thought that my oldest would love Right Start Math. I thought, great. There's so many different things to do and maneuver and work with and see and just all these things, and I got super excited. Now that's a pretty pricey curriculum, and so I dove headfirst into it thinking that this would be great, and then my other kids could follow suit because I have everything there. Well, that was a short-lived curriculum in our household, and it wasn't anything he was interested in. He didn't really care about it at all, and I was surprised, to be honest. I was, but then I also realized that it didn't work well with my teaching style either, because I was starting to dread pulling it out and doing that as well, and it was like, oh, so we both just we fell off the bandwagon with that, and some people really like it. Some kids thrive with that stuff, and that's great. But mine, he just wasn't interested at all. And that's fine. We found something else that works. I mean, we've had a lot of math curriculums fly through this house, and I finally settled on Christian Light Education. And I think I'm going to do a video on CLE math and why it works really well for us and why I like it so much. So these all kind of run into each other of things that I've learned, but if a curriculum is too stressful or there's too many components or things, but there's something that you just love about it or that it works for this aspect, it is okay to modify your curriculum. Make the curriculum work for you. Do not become a slave to the curriculum because you will be miserable. Curriculum is not perfect. It is not made for, everybody's different styles and things. You have to sometimes work around those things. Adjust it, drop things, try something a little bit different. Okay, so for instance, our Abeka Bible. Love Abeka Bible. It has been amazing. My kids have learned so much. I've even learned a lot from that. And but the memory verses were pretty lengthy, some of them. And so instead of saying, oh man, my kids are going to hate trying to memorize this, I shortened it. I took something out of it and said, okay, I want you guys to memorize this. And so we would work on that. Or a curriculum is scheduled out to have it done 2 or 3 times a week. Well, I can't work that in because that's too much to add to my kids' load. So what I'm going to do is modify it and do once a week. For instance, our geography, I'm kind of mushing it into our history to line up, and I didn't want to have to do geography twice a week, even though sometimes my kids want me to because they like it. But I didn't want to have to mush it in there and rush, because I want them to learn where the states are and know the map of the United States. And I didn't want to rush through a state a week. It just seemed too fast. I'm doing once a week, so we go through a state in every 2 weeks. And I'm not making the curriculum dictate how I am running my schedule and running my school. So it's really important to just pick and choose out of the curriculum what you want, what works, and go with it. And fill in the rest if that's what you need to do. So when I first started homeschooling, I had this vision of how our school days would go. And I just saw, oh, here we are sitting at the table, and my kids are listening, and they're eager to learn, and they're cooperating, and they're doing everything that I want them to do. No, that's not how it works. Reality check here. And that's okay. It's okay. But no, our days are never like that. Well, okay, I can't say never. So I have learned that homeschool does not look like a perfect dream every day. Now, I probably knew that going into this, but I had high hopes. And for any of you that have children that are cooperative and compliant and eager to learn every day, awesome. Run with it. But that is not how our school day goes. And there are struggles. There are so many struggles. But the struggles ebb and flow. There are days where it is like my perfect ideal homeschool. And I'm like, wow, that was a great day of school. Thanks, guys. Thanks for cooperating and learning and not complaining and not fighting me on doing your math or something like that. It's so nice. You get those little breaks, those reprieves of perfect school days, at least as perfect as you can get. So there are times when that happens, but for the most part, there is somebody balking at doing their math, or there's someone complaining that they don't want to do their handwriting, or they are so slow at doing something. It makes me crazy. And I've got other things to do. Sometimes the fight isn't worth it. There are days that I make my kids do these things because they need to learn that life isn't easy. There's always things that we have to do that we're not going to want to do, even as an adult, and they just need to learn that. And so there are days where I fight in the sense of not letting them get out of their schoolwork for certain things. Nope, you're going to do that. I don't care how long it takes you to do it, but you're going to do it. And, you can complain all you want, but it's going to get done. Or there are days where it's just not worth fight, honestly, and it's time to take a break. It's time to put things away and move on with your day. We didn't get math done. Oh well, we'll come back to it tomorrow. It's okay to take those breaks. A lot of times we need that to regroup and come back with a better attitude the next day. Another thing I've learned is that sometimes we are more productive at night. I'm a night owl, and my oldest is definitely a night owl as well. And I know in college, I would actually be more productive in the evening of getting my papers done and things like that. And I think he is a lot like me in that sense, because during the morning, I like to get some of our group subjects done, or a lot of the independent stuff. But sometimes, like math, he just fights me all day on it. And I'm like, okay, whatever, but you have to get it done at some point today. It could be 9 o'clock at night. Then he's in a great mood. Don't know where it came from, but he's in a great mood. He wants to get his math done. So the other day, we were pretty busy, or I was pretty busy, and I just didn't have time to sit and do schoolwork until after dinner. And I had put the baby to bed, and I said, okay, guys, we got to do something. So I took out the geography. They're in a mood to do school. Great, we got geography done. They each got math done. And I chalked that up as a good day. We didn't get everything done, but then at nighttime, I also do their read alouds for history or science too. So I got all that stuff done in like an hour, and the sun is in my eyes. And, that was a good day, but it was at night. Hey, whatever, it works. Right, hopefully that lighting is okay. I had to shut the blind a little bit. I was getting blinded by the sun. So another thing I've learned is that you just can't do all the things. You may want to, you may try to schedule it out. It's just not possible. I had an aspiration this year to do a loop schedule of music study, artist study. I had such good visions of, artists, we'll study Monet and we'll, learn about him, and then we'll do an art painting like once a term. The loop schedule didn't last very long. But that's okay also. Like, in public school, they don't learn all the things. There's no way that a person can learn everything there is to know. All the things your third grader needs to know books. Like, don't stress about those. Go with what you know. Go with what you want to teach your children. Make it fun, make it interesting. And if they're interested in it, they will retain it, because there are so many things in public school that I don't remember because it was either boring or not important in my mind. For instance, like history dates. There are parts of history that I am really interested in, so I know a lot more about, but there's other parts of history that I don't have a clue. And I'm learning right along with my kids, again, for certain things, but you don't need to memorize all of these things and nail it into their heads just for a test, It's history, and things are there's so much more to that. Learn the stories, learn the people, learn the why of the war starting, or the background as to what was going on, instead of saying, okay, well, this is this date, this happened this date, this happened this date, this happened this date. Everything just seems so disjointed, and it's so hard to learn that way, at least for me and my kids. But if you take a chunk and really focus in on certain things and things that your kids are interested, they will retain that a lot more, and then they'll go study it on their own. I know that my son, both of them, but my oldest for sure, he is a researcher, and when he was 5, he was into fishing, and I tell you what, that kid learned more about fishing on his own time than I knew about anything to do with fish. He knew all kinds of types of fish. He knew baits and lures, and just an amazing amount of information that he learned just by watching videos on YouTube about these things. Now they are both into coin collecting, and I don't even know. And he has learned on his own all about the different years that they came out with different coins, and all the different die cracks and defects and things like that. Though I just let him talk, and I learned things from him. And my middle child is very into cows and animals. We have cows of our own, but he watches farming videos and things, and he likes the veterinary thing. And he has watched a cow C-section on YouTube. I mean, and he wants to learn about it. And so there's just so many different ways to learn things, and really focus in on your interests and things that make it so much worthwhile, rather than making sure they hit all these key points for different curriculums and boring them to the point that they don't retain much of any of that. So just really focus on what your kids' interests are and run with it, because they learn so much more that way. If you're still with me, thanks for, give me a thumbs up if you're still with me here. So, and lastly here, one of the big things that I've learned from homeschooling is really live for those light bulb moments. That's what makes homeschooling so rewarding. That is what I just strive for. And by light bulb moment, I mean, maybe they're struggling with something and it just doesn't seem like they're getting it and they're not retaining it, and it's a struggle for you to teach it, and you just don't know where else to turn. And then it clicks and there's a light bulb moment, and that is so awesome to see. your kid just get it, and then they're so excited, they're so proud of themselves, you're proud, you feel great because you were there with them, you were with them through the whole journey, you saw where they came from and where they ended up. And that goes for reading and math and just so many things. There are so many light bulb moments that are just so rewarding. And there are struggles and fights and bad days and no school days and all these things that are in between there that sometimes make you wonder, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? And then there's those moments, those key moments that just make it all worthwhile. So live for those little moments of light bulbs and just really see where your kids grow, because it's so cool to be a part of that. And if God's called you to homeschool, it's such a blessing when you get those light bulb moments, and it's just awesome. So keep working on it, mamas, and they'll happen. They will happen, and it'll just change your day. You may be feeling like you want to quit homeschooling, or maybe it would be easier if I just sent them to public school, or numerous other things. Like, what are we doing? And then they have those moments, and it's just amazing. So I hope you guys made it to the end of this with me. It was kind of rambly, but I wanted to just get all that out there, and I hope that I was able to help somebody or encourage you guys along the way. I mean, we're always learning every day. I'm learning so many things just about my kids, and even through school, just things that I don't remember from school myself, or that I never even heard about. And it's just fun. It really is fun. I love homeschooling. I love teaching, even though some days I want to pull my hair out. But, you know, like I said, it's okay. And we'll get through it. Our kids will be okay. We're not going to fail them. I want to thank you for watching. Go ahead and click that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up if you made it to the end here. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.